Hey, gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Carnage Unleashed. How you doing today, Clayton?
I'm doing good. I actually have kind of a funny story for you guys to kick this one off. So, go to the gym. Wednesday, it's push day. Good day. One of my favorite days in the gym. And I walk in the locker room at BG, and I look over to my left, and who's sitting there but Kevin's favorite fighter, Gates Cook.
Oh,
And I was like,
what's
what the heck?
up?
And I walked over and I was like, hey, how's it going? He was like, oh, yeah. Hey, just talk for a couple minutes. And Dylan was there too. I think Braden Benson was the other guy that they had with them, but
Oh, okay.
they're using BG's sauna to cut weight.
Oh,
nice.
okay.
Oh,
All right.
Yeah. So I thought I saw a picture of it on Dylan's story yesterday, and I was like, that looks a lot like the sauna that I go in after I'm done. But hey, I'm sure that there's a lot of them that look a lot like that one. So
And here, I thought he was going to tell me that he was looked over and there was Eddie George sitting right next to him, the new head coach of the BG football team.
yeah, you scared, Kev? You scared yet? I would be.
A little bit, yeah.
But yeah, that was also announced Sunday morning. That's exciting, man. We lost our coach to the Eagles.
Gross.
I get it. That's less. He's making more money for less responsibility and is working with a team that just won a Super Bowl. So, like, I
Why
get
not,
it.
right?
Yeah, seriously. I completely understand that. But we bring in Eddie George, Heisman winner in 1995. Yeah, what else is there to say? Like, that is a great hire, and I'm very, very satisfied with it. Kev, how are we doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. I think my only saving grace as a Toledo alum is to hope that Eddie George will completely negate recruiting any quarterbacks, and he's just going to say, we are going to run the ball 87 times a game. I don't care about the quarterback position. That might give us a chance, but it's been a good week and a lot of fun stuff to look forward to for wrestling fans and combat fans alike. So, Zach, how about you? How are you holding up? It's been a while since I've seen you.
Yeah, it's been a while, right? I'm excited to tear into some of these fighters because there's some things that from this 313 card that I'm just very upset about. So I'm up and I'm ready to go. And I've got some facts that I think Clayton does not know about a fighter. So I'm excited to one-up him. He's probably going to come back, but yeah, I knew that. I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm going to try to stump the stump.
All right. I'm excited, man. I really am. When you said that, like, while we were getting ready to record, I was like, okay, how much do I really know about Bobby Green?
That's funny.
Our own Stump the Schwab reboot. I love
Yeah.
There we go.
But there's some decent fights on this past card. Probably not all technically sound as Zach would like, but there was some action.
Anger. I was half awake and I'm just sitting there yelling at Wade about this. Wade's probably like, shut up. I get it. You're not happy with them.
I am not in there right now. I can't make these adjustments.
Well, we'll start off with my fact about old Bobby Green / King Green here. Do you know, Clayton, when he first started fighting MMA back when he was around 22 years old, what fighting style Bobby Green used? What was his official fighting style that he would tell the promotions?
I would kind of want to say freestyle, I guess.
I mean, it's kind of freestyle. I mean, it's
you
kind
could call that.
But it was, in his words, hood.
Actually, I have heard that before. I wouldn't have got that. I wouldn't have got that like as a trivia question, but yes, I have heard that before.
Hood was his fighting style, and I love it. It's just too bad he couldn't pull out the hood in this last fight because he got knocked out with a beautiful.
Ooh, that was a highlight for
kick.
the ages right there.
Yeah,
I think that's like one of like 4 spinning heel kick knockouts in the UFC.
You don't see too many of those, and I was shocked. I think Wade looked away, and I was over there, doing my good impression of
Joe Rogan.
Of Joe Rogan over here. Ah!
Fighting nerds are on fire right now, dude. Like,
I'm loving it.
That gym is awesome. They currently have five main guys, I guess, in the UFC right now. Cal Brahio, something like that. He's a middleweight. Carlos Prates, Jean Silva, Patricio Hufi, who got that knockout against Bobby Green last weekend, and Thiago Moises, however you say that, trains there now too. So that is the hottest gym in MMA right now, I would argue. Like,
oh yeah, they are on fire right now.
Everybody's talking. I don't think they've lost a UFC fight yet.
Really?
Anybody fighting nerds? I don't think they've lost in the UFC yet.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that crazy, absolutely crazy, and that was a great showing by Goofy. Like,
yeah, it was.
What more could you want? That's a perfect finish to open up the main card.
And then, speaking of the fight nerd, Jean Silva, isn't he making a quick turnaround to fight Bryce Mitchell?
Yeah, they did a press conference for that, I think, on Thursday last week. And dude, like, Bryce Mitchell was like, I would almost say like an underground legend in MMA. Like, a lot of the hardcores really liked Bryce Mitchell, but now, dude, like, everybody was booing this guy, bro.
Well, I mean, he made some pretty out there
stupid games, win stupid prizes like that. Yeah,
if you don't know the comments that he said, look that up. You're gonna be like,
just Google Bryce Mitchell, guys. That's literally all you have to do. It's nothing else needs to be done. It will come up, I promise.
Just like he should have Googled World War II. He could have learned everything he needed to do in about 3 minutes.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, everybody.
Yep.
Well, take.
I'm sorry his state's public school system failed him so poorly.
He is from Arkansas, guys. Like,
oh, well, I have no comment. I have no comment about that.
Yes. But moving up through the main card, we had Amanda Lemos. She got a UD win over Zame Lucindo. I just know her as Lucindo. I think that's how you say
I was kind
name.
of underwhelmed for this fight. I thought it was going to be more action, stand up, but it just, I don't know, it just seemed underwhelming in what I was expecting from these two.
It was more of a ground battle, you know. You had what?
12 total minutes of control time.
Yeah. That's crazy. I mean, that's basically that's basically the whole fight.
Yeah, like, it's just, did Amanda Lemos do what she needed to do to win? Yeah. She probably valued a win there more than like an exciting finish or whatever, but like, hard one to get through, boys. I'm not gonna lie. That was a little bit of a harder one to get through.
Well,
I'm
sure Dana White wasn't happy about them just laying around, but I think the main event made him a little bit more unhappy. If you saw his face when he read the card,
he saw dollar signs just flying away. They were just flying out of the cage. Might as well jump into that right now, right? Good transition, boys. Good transition. But yeah, Ankalaev defeated Alex Pereira via unanimous decision, 48-47 on 2. 49-46 for Ankalaev is a little wild in my opinion, but that's one guy's observation, I guess. Yeah, Ankalaev won the fight.
I had 3 rounds too. Ankalaev. Yeah, and I don't know. I think Pereira was so worried about the takedown that he didn't want to get over aggressive like he normally is to get taken down, and that's what kind of deterred him from fighting like he normally does, and just performed so flat that night.
Yeah,
he was just too stingy with throwing punches at all. Like I felt like there was like at times like a minute chunks where he didn't even throw anything. I mean, yeah, cool. He was throwing that calf kick.
Yep, victory by leg kick.
But he only did that in like the first and second round, and then I think he kind of went away from it the rest of the fight. Like that was it. I'm like, if you're gonna do it, that's something you got to stick with.
I think at one point coach told him, listen, you can't win this fight with calf kicks. And instead of saying, oh, I better mix it more, he just said, oh, okay, no more calf kicks. It's like, well, you can't do nothing.
Yeah. It's just, I'm with you, Wade. Like, he literally was just so afraid of getting taken down. His output was low. Has somebody finally figured out how really to beat Alex Pereira on the feet, and that's make him go backwards too? He's like, he was going backwards basically that entire fight. He was on the outside.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean,
he didn't want to get out of position to be able to get taken down because he wanted to stay all ready. Because every time, I mean, he defended the takedown very well.
12 of them.
But
yeah,
had no offense to counter that because he was just so afraid to get taken down.
Mm-hmm. And he's not a counter. He's not a counter fight, puncher. So if you're a counter fighter, you like fighting on your heels. You like kind of backing up and leading your opponent in and then countering. But he was throwing no counters. He wasn't doing anything at all, which is I was just surprised because Alex is just normally let me come forward and you need to stop me.
Yeah. He imposes his will and he did not.
No.
Kalaev did.
Not at all. And boys, I think the only thing that the UFC can do here is run this fight back. Like there is nobody else in my mind right now at light heavyweight that really deserves a title shot.
Yeah, he hasn't lost since what? He won the belt
2018.
2020. Well, yeah, he hasn't lost since then. But for the belt wise, I think it was back in 2023. He's held the belt since then.
Something like that.
He's only had, I think
2022. Oh, wait, he lost. I'm sorry. He did lose. So you're right. 2023.
Yeah. And he only had like two fights go the distance, like his second fight and then against Jan when he jumped up and then this one.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we know he can put people out. He can make exciting fights, but
you just got to stick to what works. Yeah.
Didn't do it that night, but he definitely deserves an immediate rematch.
And I think I heard Dana White already said that most likely. I think in the post press conference he said that that's most likely going to happen.
Yeah, well, he didn't yell at the person who asked the question and tell him that I don't book fights on fight nights. So, which is the closest I've ever heard to a yes in a Dana post conference.
Well, and then speaking of that, like to me, the John Jones Alex Perez fight is dead in the water at this point. And so now it's the only fight that makes sense is John Jones and Tom Aspinall.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've heard through the Twitter rabbit hole that John has agreed to the money. They just need to find a place and a date.
Ooh. I heard it's going to be sometime in the summer. At least that's what Dana was saying. Hey, all I'm saying is if that happens, I'm going to be looking for some tickets. So maybe we can get the Carnage crew to go and cover it live. I doubt we'll get any press passes, but I don't know. Kevin's got more accolades than the rest of us. Maybe he can sneak his way in there.
Hey, dude, crazier things have happened.
True.
You just got to submit them. You never know who's going to say yes. Like, oh yeah, come on.
90% of belonging is looking like you belong. So Kev, if we just get you in a back door and you just act like you're supposed to be there, we're probably good.
Dude, yeah.
We'll bring a camera with us too,
we're part of the production crew, guys.
Yeah.
Due to an
Get a
unfamiliarity.
little lanyard that says media on it.
Yeah, I got one. We're good. Yeah. I can go into no further detail about this story because I don't know when the statute of limitations run out, but yes.
Wow.
So jumping back to Dana White's performance of the night and Zach's favorite fight, you want to tell him how you feel?
I would love. I'm ready. I'm
ready.
ready.
I am so mad at Turner. It's not even funny because just watching the whole thing play out. So first of all, you've been in MMA for quite a long time. I mean, you got 20 plus fights underneath your belt. And day one, I'm telling you, when you're learning jiu-jitsu and you're learning MMA jiu-jitsu, not just jiu-jitsu, MMA jiu-jitsu, kind of different things, right? You learn how to defend against a triangle, and that guy didn't do a single thing right. Okay? I mean, The legs were open and he had one arm in. Instantly, okay, you're going to make one of two choices: get both arms out or get both arms in. He didn't do any of that. Instead, what did he do? He like stacked himself. He deliberately like almost stacked himself, then locked it up. And then what does he do? Is he starts walking around and he puts his foot right there for him to grab it. And then he just grabbed his foot and went. I'm just like, are you kidding me? Like, even when he locked it up, okay, you're supposed to boom, posture up, stand up, throw him. At least that's how I defend against it. You know me, I like to put my forearm right there on the belly, pull that in nice and tight, look straight up to the sky, and shoot yourself up. Boom, easy way out. Worst case scenario, he hangs on and he's dangling there on the ground. You can drop him on his head if you want. Go ahead and do some Rampage Jackson style and boom, let's just slam him. But he didn't do anything. He just it was almost like he gave up. He was like, oh, I'm in here. I'm done. Whatever. Take it. Pissed. I'm pissed. I'm really angry at his performance. And he needed to retire after that performance.
Oh, he did. He just needed to. Just watching his post-fight interview. Yeah, he's fighting something outside of the ring that's just affecting him so much mentally that, yeah, he does not need to be. He's only going to get hurt if he keeps continuing trying to fight. It was the best decision to retire because when you're thinking about it, he said he was weighing on his mind for a couple weeks, and he's like, this fight was the one that was going to determine whether I was going to or not. And like, if you have that kind of mindset,
yeah,
retire.
You gotta go, man.
You can't be in that ring. You're gonna get seriously injured.
Mm-hmm. He's lost 4 out of 5, boys, too. Like, he lost to Gamrot, split decision, close fight. Lost to Dan Hooker. That fight was awesome. If you guys have UFC Fight Pass at home, look that one up. But was on the wrong end of another split there. Wrecked Bobby Green's entire existence in Austin. You guys remember that one when the ref just didn't stop it?
Yeah.
And then
that was a bad one.
Got knocked out by Moicano at UFC 300. Remember, he knocked him down and tried to walk away instead of jumping on him, and Moicano got up and then ended up knocking him out. So he's got that one on there. And then Ignacio Bahamondes, training partner of Bilal Muhammad, goes in there and throws up a triangle, and that was all she wrote, man. That's just, like Zach said, that just seemed like such a slow, basic triangle setup.
It was.
Yeah, it wasn't even he got caught in that position. They kind of fell into that position. He had arm in, head, arm out, and you saw at the start of it, he did pop up, and then it was like, oh, he's not really trying to go for this, so whatever.
Right.
And let me just continue. And then Ignacio I felt like he didn't realize he was in that position yet. And then he's like, oh, shoot, let me just lock this up.
Yeah.
Just slap this on him.
That was like a 20 to 30 second span of all this happening where, if he just did simple mechanics of posturing up, pushing over, he was out.
Right.
Yeah, and you guys are right, because DC talked about that whole thing in the replay, and that's what stuck out to me, Wade, was the amount of time where he's like, yeah, and if he does, he's like, he didn't get into the details, but he's like, there's a number of things you can do, and if he does any of them right here, he's probably out of this.
Yeah.
Well, guys,
that's embarrassing. I'm just sorry, embarrassing.
Zach got his chance to rage, so it's my turn now. We have a fight, first prelim fight, the early prelims. Ozzy Diaz walked away with a win. Called that one, by the way, boys, at plus money. Come on now, you got to reach advantage. But Marion Santos versus Francis Marshall. Now, gentlemen, I look at Marion Santos. I'm like, okay, this is a guy who just won the Ultimate Fighter a couple months ago. The UFC is going to push him. I might as well bet on him. That seems like guaranteed money to me. So I dropped a little $5 on him. I'm watching this fight. He's just getting walked down the entire time. It just seems like Francis Marshall just killed him. He took him down 3 times, did not outstrike him, but that doesn't matter in my opinion because of how much damage he was doing to the guy. It seemed like every single big punch in that fight was landed by Francis Marshall. Final horn blows. I'm like, well, that kind of sucks. I just lost $5, but we can move on from that, I guess. And they read the scorecards, and they have 27-30 for Francis Marshall, 30-27, which is what I had. That's how I scored that one. And then they had 29-28 times 2 for Santos, and he walked away with the decision. And I was like, okay, hang on. I kind of expect this overseas sometimes. Like, we see this in Abu Dhabi. Yep. That kind of happens. What are you doing, Nevada? That was terrible. And I know the stats may not reflect it, but if you go back and watch that fight and tell me Francis Marshall didn't win that fight, I'm going to call you crazy. That is a god-awful decision. I won money and I was pissed. Like, I was like,
it's bad when he won money and he's still mad.
Yeah, I got on Twitter afterwards. And I'm like, guys, I won money and I still hate that decision. Francis Marshall got robbed. The UFC owes him one, so they need to give him somebody that just doesn't have a chin, I think, for his next fight. That, to me, that makes sense. There shouldn't be anything here. Like, just give him somebody that he can get a performance bonus for, because that was ridiculous. But moving into my fight of the night, personally, the fight that entertained me the most, my boy, my dog, Justin Gaethje, who was the dog going into this fight. He was plus 130, I think. Walks away with a unanimous decision over Rafael Fiziev. What can I say, boys? I had a 29-28, Gaethje winning 2 and 3.
Yep, I had the same. It was another action-packed, I think, fight. Very entertaining.
Mm-hmm. Gaethje
Ken's
hit him
favorite
with
kickboxing.
Yeah. Gaethje hit him with a wild uppercut that knocked him down. That, in my mind,
that was
ended
beautiful.
the fight.
Yeah.
Fiziev just didn't have an answer after that. Like,
no.
Well, I was digging Rafael, though. I mean, because he was fighting really well. He was changing levels, going up and down, really going after that body. I mean, he threw 52 body shots and landed 43 of them. That, to me, that is a perfect stand-up fight. You're going down, you're coming up, you're going down, you're coming up. He did a beautiful plan. It just wasn't enough. It just wasn't. But I thought he had a beautiful fight, and I can't wait to watch him fight again. I became a fan just because I respect the guys who can change the levels, who can do all the aspects of a stand-up game. I respect a good guy with a good stand-up. All right, what can I say? Screw those wrestlers. Yes, I'm talking to you, lady.
Have you guys ever seen that picture?
Because you can't defend it.
If we're just wrestling, I can defend it. Okay, I can't put it all together. There's a difference.
Have you guys ever seen that picture of Justin Gaethje when he's sitting on the stool and he looks at the camera like? I saw a meme this weekend of, because Rafael Fiziev comes from a Muay Thai background, and it's Rafael Fiziev. I've spent years crafting my Muay Thai style to really cultivate the use of the art of the 8 limbs, and then it's just that picture of Justin Gaethje after that. Incredible. And last thing about Gaethje, guys, he called for a title shot.
Do you think he deserves it?
No, but I think the UFC will do it.
Where do you think it makes money sense?
Yes. This is a fresh opponent, a new look, and a fairly big name for Islam. And do I see Gaethje beating Islam? No, absolutely not.
No.
But does Gaethje have a wild amount of power and can land an uppercut like that can potentially floor him? Yeah.
That's why they fight, because you never know. That's the beautiful thing about the fight game. The underdog can come in and just have a lucky night.
You don't have to be the better fighter. You have to be the better fighter on that night.
Yep.
That is the fight game. You do not have to be better. You just have to have a better night.
Yep.
Could Gaethje do that? Yeah. So I think that's probably the fight they'll make. The UFC hates Arman Sarukian, so I'm not really worried about that. Armin's whole persona bugs me, guys. It does. I'm not gonna lie. And because I'll see pictures of him. I think his dad's like an oil tycoon or something like that. So I'll see pictures of him goofing off on his dad's private island. Meanwhile, Charles Oliveira doesn't even have shoes on, and he's running through the favela trying to figure it out. And it's well, yeah, I'm gonna root for that guy. but he has like 2 top 10 wins. He beat Beneil Dariush. Okay, whatever. Sure. I'll give you that one. He got robbed. Charles Oliveira got robbed. I'll say it until the day that I die. At UFC 300, Charles Oliveira got robbed against Armin. He did. 100%. Yeah. And I get why they don't want to give him the shot. And he's also fought Islam once too. So you kind of have that. That's probably going to be the UFC's public. Well, they fought before, guys. We saw how it went. Let's throw the guy that has half a brain cell but can throw really hard in there and see what happens.
I like it.
Yeah, I'm not an Armin Sarukian fan. I think he's just a lay and pray wrestler, but hey, that's one guy's opinion. Does he deserve the shot though? Yeah, absolutely.
That's Wade's favorite.
No. I don't.
Oh yeah, you're just a typical wrestler. Let me take you down and lay on top of you and not do anything.
This guy thinks Khabib's the
Khabib
GOAT.
type wrestle, like where he's gonna get you to the ground and then he's just gonna punish you.
Nah, that's not your style. I know. You just like sitting on people.
Absolutely not.
Shoot. Well, we have then coming up UFC Fight Night. We've got a rematch. I'm not going to even try to say names. You know me and names. I'll let you guys do that.
We got Marvin Vettori and Roman Dolidze. That's how you say both of these guys' names. We'll start at the top. Marvin Vettori is the only Italian UFC fighter I can name right now off the top of my head, boys. I don't know if there's another one, but he's the only one I can name right now. So that's kind of fun. This dude's got a steel chin, which makes him really fun. We haven't seen him for a while, though. It's been about almost 2 years. It's been like 21 months. Last fight was a loss against Jared Cannonier.
June 17th, 2023.
Yep, 23. And he's a former title challenger as well. Just happened to be in the division at the same time Izzy. Oh, well, happens. This guy's also a good Twitter follow for those of you out there. Just spend 5 minutes when you're in a Slack meeting tomorrow or whatever, scrolling through his Twitter. That's what I would do. But 2-3 in his last 5. But these are all great names, man. Like I said, you got the Izzy loss on there, Paulo Costa, Robert Whittaker. That one was in Paris. That was a co-main for Paris. Roman Dolidze, which again is this rematch here, and then Jared Cannonier. So,
well, he won that first matchup. Do you think he's going to win again this time?
No, and I'm only saying that because it's impossible to beat the same person twice. Very rarely does somebody go 2-0 against somebody, it seems like.
John Jones.
Whatever. He needed like EPO and Kev, why don't you go into the list of substances that John Jones needed to beat these guys?
Yeah, exactly. All that
Kevin's
stuff.
favorite fighter, man.
Yeah.
Try a little pre-fight weed. And how many times did he poke this said person in the eye as well?
Too many. Is the short answer there. But I just example, Gaethje and Poirier, 1-1. Great rivalry there. I hope those two guys never fight again. But great.
Well, it's funny. Funny you said that, and then Gaethje just won against Fiziev for the second time.
Ah, shit. Well,
victory.
Shit.
The exception proves the rule.
True. Regardless, though, I'm still, no matter what, because you see this, Kev, you see this in basketball a lot. Like teams will split 1-1. Yeah.
Talk about in the NFL all the time too, right? Like
exactly.
For them, it's usually that third one that's like, if it's in the same division, like
right.
It's hard to just keep beating the same opponent.
It is. I just like giving you guys crap. Plus, I just love bringing up John Jones because I love watching Kevin's eyebrows always go.
The greatest. I saw a picture today because the big talk of Twitter for the last 3 days has been everybody's saying we're in a boring era of UFC champions, which star power wise is probably true. But, they showed the guys from 2015 and the guys from now, Kev, there's only one face that's in both pictures. Like, there's it. Love him or hate him, he's there.
I love him.
It's true.
And all the bad he brings.
Yeah, seriously.
It's because he's that great that I hate the way he is. If he were somebody who was off the roster, I no one would care. You know, it's God.
And then let's dive into Roman Dolidze a little bit too. He's had kind of an interesting run. He's won a couple of great fights against a couple of big names. Phil Hawes, Jack Hermanson, Kevin Holland in his most recent fight. Kevin broke a rib, so that's an injury TKO, but we can kind of move on from that one. He kicked the crap out of Anthony Smith though, up a weight class. That was just a good old fashioned beat down.
I was like, oh man, Smith might need to retire after that.
Yeah, there's a reason he's booked to retire in like April now, and I think it started with that fight. With going from fighting Khalil Roundtree and like being on skates and hitting the stanky leg to getting controlled and dominated by a middleweight. I'm sorry, Anthony Smith, you're one of my favorites, but I'm looking forward to covering your retirement fight so I don't have to watch you get hurt again.
Yes.
Then 2 losses to Nasruddin Imavov, guy who might get a title shot here in this next year, and then Marvin Vettori. So two good names. I like Rome Dolidze's recent performances though. Kevin Holland, I think he won that round personally. They only fought for a round. They called it in between.
Mm-hmm.
And he looked great against Anthony Smith. So, and I don't care what people say. Ring rust is a very real thing, in my opinion.
Very true.
Yeah, and it like when Colby Covington, in my opinion, is like the pinnacle example of that.
Absolutely.
Like he took a huge layoff before he fought Leon Edwards. Lost, got dominated. Took a big layoff and then took a short notice fight against Joaquin Buckley and got the crap kicked out of him again. Like he was getting dominated everywhere. So
he lost his timing.
Yeah. Marvin's been out for a minute, guys. I'm not convinced. I'm not.
All right. All right, I trust you.
I trust you. All right. You convinced me. I'm on train now.
Choo-choo.
Moving down the card, though, fight that jumps out to me is Alexander Hernandez versus Kurt Holloway. This is a great fight. Kurt Holloway was on Conor McGregor's season of The Ultimate Fighter. He was on Michael Chandler's team as one of the veterans. He's 2-1 since coming back to the UFC. Kurt the Hurt, boys. Kurt the Hurt.
Love that.
Not bad. Not bad. I like that one. They have him at plus money here against Alexander Hernandez, who's I think he's 8-8 in the UFC right now. Struggle with consistency, obviously, through his time. Brian Petrie was talking today on Anik and Florian how sometimes it just looks like he'll have like a great first 2 rounds, and then the third round it just looks like he doesn't want to be there, and then he'll get put away. So Kurt being in there, he's made the most out of his second chance. I like the plus money on Kurt Holloway, boys. I'm not gonna lie. That one jumped out to me. And then the fight right before that, we got Damon Blackshear versus Cody Gibson. Cody Gibson was also on that season of The Ultimate Fighter on Michael Chandler's team. He like tough is so dead, but one of the moments that kind of reminded me of the old days, because like before MMA was like a real respectable sport, I'll say, like a respected sport. Like tough was just guys blacking out in the house and yelling at each other.
Let me bang, bro.
Yeah, that's pretty much all it was. And then they showed Cody Gibson just telling Brad Katona that he was annoying and didn't want to talk to him, and hyped it up like, oh my gosh, there's drama in the house. Like, dude, Junie Browning literally like kicked a guy in the back of the head once. Like, what? No, Tough is so sad now, man.
Yeah, dude, they had a future attempted murder on one of those seasons early on.
Yeah.
What'd that guy call himself? War Machine or something?
Yeah, that sounds right.
The more you know.
That's wacky characters early. Yeah, it was all just here's a bunch of fighters very hungry for an opportunity in a house full of liquor. Go.
Yes.
Have
Don't
fun.
hurt yourselves.
We'll keep the cameras rolling.
Yeah, seriously. Like guys would just like Tony Ferguson. Yeah, that's a great season of The Ultimate Fighter. Like he got like really drunk one night, started yelling, "Where's your kid at?" to some other dude, and it's like, oh, buddy, no, can't be doing that. That would not fly on reality TV today. Is all I'm saying. But I like Damon Blackshear here, and the number kind of reflects that. Cody Gibson's just kind of old for a bantamweight. He's 37 now. He's a school teacher. That's like his day job. He is Mr. Gibson. He teaches like history, I think.
That's awesome.
Wow. I hope he does not get knocked out.
No, I hope he doesn't. I love seeing that.
Like trying to get your class to calm down, and
they just
always walking up and just playing that video. Oh, what are you guys watching back there? You get knocked out, punk. What, are you gonna write me up?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
That reminds me of Rich Franklin. He was a math teacher.
Yeah, seriously. He was from Ohio, wasn't he? He taught somewhere in
Cincinnati, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. If you teach math or history in Ohio, I think it's a requirement that you coach a sport at that school, right?
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's funny because my high school wrestling teacher also taught history.
That's right. A lot of basketball coaches were math dudes. I hated it.
Our football coach when I was in high school was a math teacher, and then our cross country and track coach was the other math teacher. Oh. And then another football coach was the other history teacher.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, history is I mean, you can just, here's a book, read it. All right, I'll see you at the semester.
Yeah, I gotta watch film. Everybody keep it down back there. But to be honest, guys, the only other name that really jumped out to me here was Ryan Spann. Ryan Spann's been around for a while. He had a beef with my boy Anthony Smith, so we had to squash that one. But he has a knockout win over Dominic Reyes, Smiling Sam Alvey from way back in the day. That was on the same card that Justin Gaethje almost ended Tony Ferguson. Shows you how long he's been around, right?
Right.
And then he had a submission win over OSP his last time out. They have him at plus money. He's also getting a little older. He's been around, like I said, he's got 30 pro fights, especially as a big guy that can kind of weigh on you a little bit. So we'll see. Happy that there's a show this weekend, boys. That's more than anything else. I'm excited for Damon Blackshear. I'm excited for Kurt Holobaugh, and of course, and then this might be the only time you'll hear me root for a British guy, guys. I'm not gonna lie. No, he's from Georgia. Yeah, I can read. But
yeah, I can read.
Yeah, college educated right there.
Hell yeah, man. But I looked at the flag like really quick on my screen, and I was like, yeah, that's the UK, obviously. And then no, it wasn't the UK. But yeah, I got Dolidze this weekend, boys. Like I said, a little bit thinner of a show. It's okay. Happy there's a fight night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
At least there's something.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, I think that then brings us to everyone's favorite minute. It is called the Wrestling Minute.
Oh, well, gentlemen, it has been another wild week. Nothing can really compare to John Cena turning heel and Travis Scott giving the biggest star in wrestling a legit injury by slapping him in the face and giving him a black eye, all that good stuff.
I've heard some stories about that. I've heard Triple H wants him to get hurt in the ring because of it.
Everybody, maybe even all the way up to Triple H. I will say that everybody in that locker room who's there 52 weeks a year would love an opportunity to give him a receipt, as they call it in the business.
It's like Cody deserves that, though. I think he's the one that deserves to give him that receipt. If anyone.
Oh yeah, he deserves like a full. Like he's be able to go New Jack on this guy. Like give me a staple gun and a 2x4 with rusty nails in it, and 3 minutes of alone time with this guy. Something like that. It was just ridiculous. Now the WWE continues in this corporate synergy that they've been doing. Are you guys familiar with and I use this term very loosely, okay? Are you familiar with the comedian Andrew Schultz?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's known for his mustache.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Of course.
So, yeah, that's right. That's right. So the last Raw was in MSG, Madison Square Garden, where historically, because the WWF, when it was a regional scene, it was the New York, Connecticut scene. So that has always been, it's the Mecca, right? It's Madison Square. It's big for artists. If you get to book there and you have to sell tickets for your shows, like Madison Square Garden's a big deal for you. So even though it wasn't a pay-per-view, still looked at as a very big deal. They had everyone's favorite wrestler, Logan Paul, come out, cut a promo. And wouldn't you know it, Andrew Schultz has a comedy special coming out on Netflix. So they work this whole angle where Logan gets frustrated at Andrew Schultz because he tells Logan that nobody in the arena cares. He said, "This isn't Cleveland, Ohio, bud. Nobody cares about you here." Yeah,
Bro, we don't care about him there either. Don't be lobbing us in there.
I was like, Cleveland's like, dude, we don't want to be responsible for this. So Logan drags him from the stands out into the ring, and AJ Styles makes the save. So Logan will be working with AJ Styles, which will be great. Logan's a guy who practices his acrobatic stuff. He does a lot of unique stuff in the ring that has to be choreographed. So working with a guy like AJ, who's been in the business for almost 30 years at this point, is still one of the best to ever do it. At least it won't suck completely, but man, I tell you right now, guys, Netflix and the WWE have maybe 1 to 2 years of this run left at this rate, because they are succeeding despite or in spite of themselves here. Like, they are every single week now. It's look at these rich people that work for Netflix. Like, what Netflix show that you would never watch that we sunk money into can we ham-fistedly promote to you at this live event? The front row is half Netflix cast members, and they're working them into these angles time and time again. Meanwhile, the announcer like, don't be sure to miss this coming to Netflix next Monday. It's like, bro, this is so lame, and you're not going to get away with this for long. Like, you're just going to bore the audience. So I don't know, man. I think the shine has started to wear off in the Netflix era already for me. How long has it been? 2 months.
Did take long, did it?
You mean Netflix isn't good at putting on live sporting events? Crazy, right?
I think we all found that out during the Paul versus Tyson fight, didn't we?
That Cartoon Fest was made even worse because they don't know how to run live TV. Like,
or how many servers they need, apparently, either.
Yeah, seriously. I will say they did fine. They did average at Christmas Day football. Average at best. That's all they needed to do. But I'm with you, Kev. Like, Netflix has they might need to start picking and choosing their battles here. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's just it's frustrating as a fan.
Yeah,
for sure.
You're not going to make back all $5 billion in the first year, okay? So just relax.
Really?
They're selling every square inch of the ring for advertisers too. It looks like a NASCAR jacket inside the ring now. There's like 8 different sponsors and a big one in the middle. And it screams of like, we're just going to try to squeeze as much juice out of these idiot wrestling fans as we can. And it's because it's not just Netflix. Every pay-per-view they announce, and there's some clever language to this. They announce the largest gate. Triple H will come out to his music, spit some water on some fans, and go, I'm here to announce this is the largest gate in WWE live event history. What they don't mention is the gate keeps going up because they're jacking up the prices between every event. So they're not selling more tickets. They're selling fewer tickets at a higher price and making more money. And again, this is an industry that was built on middle-class families, lower-class families. Wrestling has always been a cost-effective live show that you can produce that also correlates well into television. And that's why it's something that was able to outlive its regional, little hot. That's how it became national in the first place, because there was enough of that around where everyone could relate to it. You start catering this entire experience to the wealthy, the people who don't give a shit anyway, the people who go to a Super Bowl and don't watch. They're just there because they're the rich people. They're supposed to be there. It's like a prom for them or something. You're turning this into something that, a bunch of rich people on their way to the clubs. Well, I guess we'll just hang out at Raw and not care. And wrestling, so the crowd is imperative. Like when it comes to a dead crowd can kill a pay-per-view. If the crowd's not into it, or if they start booing it or start chanting Cena sucks, when they're not supposed to, it can really hijack a whole show and mess it up. So yeah, Netflix, it's cool to see them have these studio quality, like movie style cameras involved and some of that, but they're doing too much too quickly. And I really think it's to their detriment, because right now they're running almost unopposed with what AEW is doing. And for any of us who were fans of sports games in the PS2 era, you now know how bad things can get when a major company has no competition. The sports games used to be a lot better 20 years ago is what I'm getting at. But now that just EA does them, or just 2K Sports.
There's a company other than EA that makes sports video games?
Not anymore.
Nope. So yeah, outside of that, gang, we're just getting ready for WrestleMania. It seems that there will now be a triple threat match between our favorite UFC washout, CM Punk, and Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. So it depends on if you like triple threat matches, good for you. You're going to like this WrestleMania, because they are applying the let's get as many people on the card as we can for WrestleMania is what it feels like.
Let's stack it. Yeah.
Yeah, triple threats, fatal four ways. Who cares? Let's do it in the battle royal. Fuck it. Let's get everybody.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of wrestling too, didn't you do a little something wrestling not too long ago there, Kev?
Yeah, we were at the first airing the first recording of Benchmark Pro Wrestling, which will be out soon right here on this very channel. We've recorded it. We got the edit in progress. But the next day I went to a little seminar, a little open house for 3 hours with Brandon Day and Brutal Bob Evans, which was pretty cool. Got to learn you can't learn a whole lot in 3 hours, right? I was made keenly aware of how little I know. You come in as a fan thinking you understand things. That bumps hurt because it's just a bunch of wood under a really thin pad. All these things. What you don't realize is exactly how difficult it can be to coordinate and work with folks. But it was an incredible experience. I really look forward to it. And you guys will probably never see me in a ring wrestling another person. I can also confirm that after spending. It was fun to be in there. I think I am much better suited holding a microphone than a title belt.
You just get slammed through a table one time.
That's all I was there for. They asked each individual, because they ran the advanced class first, then the normal class, and then it was, here's the people for the seminar. Let's introduce them, do basic stuff. And when they went around the ring and asked us why we were there, I said, hey, look, I was on the production team last night. I was in the camera in that corner. I don't know that I'll ever end up in the ring as a character, as a full-time wrestler, but I wanted to learn the ins and outs of the business so I could be better at calling and better at shooting it, and then maybe potentially being a manager. So I told him ahead of time. I knew, like, look, don't get too excited and maybe take it easy on me, because I already know I'm not going to be doing what you do. I just want to be able to, if somebody needs to put me through a table to draw heat so we can sell more tickets, like, yeah, I want to be able to do that and not have to worry about medical bills. So yeah, teach me, Sensei.
Well, that's awesome. I can't wait until we put that out for everybody to watch, because it was a fantastic show. I mean, it really was. It was my first experience of seeing pro wrestling live, and I don't know if you saw me, but I was smiling most of the time I'm holding that camera. I'm like, oh my gosh, he's doing what? You know? So it was pretty cool being right there ringside, watching all that stuff unfold. I loved it, and I can't wait for our next one, which is, I believe, May 9th.
That is correct. That's my understanding as well. Yeah, it's going to be May 9th. I think I can confirm that right now, actually. Yeah, the Absolute Grand Prix.
Oh, yeah.
Will be on May 9th, where they will crown the inaugural Benchmark Pro Wrestling champion. So it's going to be a tournament. We're going to have tournaments. Sorry, I can never say that without adding in the New York accent. We're having tournaments, bro. Check it out. It will be amazing.
I'm looking forward to that. Yes. And then upcoming for us here at Carnage Media, we have Carnage Fight Series, our first MMA show. If you guys knew, we also did kickboxing for about 2 years over in Indiana, and we decided to move on over here to Ohio to put on some MMA shows. We've got our first one coming up in Ottawa, Ohio, down in the Putnam County Event Center. I'm excited for this. We've got 3 pro fights. We'll cover a little bit more of that next week when we have an interview with our main event, Contreras versus Richards. So most of you might know who Quentin Richard is. We've had him on the show before. We've interviewed him because he's headlined a couple of shows that we've filmed before. I'm looking forward to that. We also have Chris Porter versus Jeremy Balboa. That'll be the co-main event. And then what I'm really excited about is the first pro fight, which we've actually brought 2 pro boxers who are going to fight each other. This is the first time that they're stepping into an MMA cage, and I'm excited to see a brawl because I have a feeling that this one's just going to be a stand-up brawl, what I like, what I love to see. So I'm already picking that one right now to be the fight of the night. That's what I'm choosing. It is Torn versus Williams. So I'm excited about that. And if you guys want, the pay-per-view is up and ready for pre-orders on CarnageMediaPPV.com. We'll have more about that next week. Our whole show is basically going to be covering that. We'll probably cover a little bit of UFC Fight Night towards the end, but at 7:30, we will be doing an interview with our main event. So I'm excited about that. And I know Clayton is, because Clayton loves hammering these guys with questions. So
absolutely.
And then our next show that we're doing, I'm excited to announce this one. I really am. You know what? I'll let Wade announce this one. Wade's been doing most of the work behind the scenes for this card. So let me just let him give this news himself.
Yeah, so we got a high-profile fighter that's going to be fighting in this main event. If he gets this, he'd be 28-0. We've worked with him with the Golden Gloves Boxing. His name is Albert Bell. If you follow him at all, he announced that he's going to be fighting. Pulse Boxing is going to present Albert Bell as a main event on April 12th. Mm-hmm. So
Huntington Center, Toledo, Ohio.
Huntington Center. Toledo, Ohio. It's going to be crazy. There's going to be a lot of good fights, and we'll break that down as it gets closer. We will be doing some interviews.
Oh yeah, I'm hoping. Well, Clayton's the one who's got his phone number, so we're gonna have Clayton reach out to him for that interview. Now we'll get with the promoter, and we'll try to get the main and co-main, or not the co-main, but the main event, both of them on here. See if we can't get some sparks to fly a little bit. Maybe have Kevin sit there and nudge him a little bit.
I heard he said I stir pots. What is this?
You love it. Don't give me that. You love it.
I call the action stir. I don't create any. Come on,
man. When we interviewed Mike Russell versus Lino, we didn't need to do anything with that one, dude.
No,
that is forever my favorite interview.
They were talking smack in the back room, weren't they?
Yeah, I roll. Yeah. I get my computer ready. I get into the back room, and they're already yelling at each other. And I was like, oh.
I was like, oh, okay, well, let's get started real quick. Hold on. Let me press live real quick. Hold on.
Hold that
Pause
thought.
on that thought. They just kept going.
Hey, that sells tickets, boys.
It
That's
does.
all that I heard. It sells. That sells. Violence sells. That's the business we're in. It sells.
And then we also have already lined up for April 26th. The first fights I think I've heard of in this town. Bowling Green Fight Night 1. I don't think I've seen or heard of any MMA going on in Bowling Green, which is kind of surprising with it being a college town. I'm sure a lot of those college kids will love to go there, get drunk, and watch a bunch of people beat each other up.
You just got to go downtown. You can. See
Well,
that,
you
right?
get down the street. I know you get down the street. You know, Wade and I used to go to BG. Both of us had a short stint of wrestling for the Bowling Green club team. I didn't know what I was doing. Wade made me train for the first time, and I think the first day we were training, he made me throw up. So
yeah. So in
He takes
return,
pride
you
in
try
that.
to take my knee out.
I didn't mean to. You got hurt. I forgot. You got hurt before our first match.
It was like a week before the match, and this fool like takes my knee out, sprained my knee, so I got to wrestle the first match on a sprained knee.
I still have my singlet, by the way. Do you?
So do I. Yep.
It was proof. It was just proof. I'm like, look, guys, I wrestled in college.
Yeah. There we go.
I can't wait to see you guys as a tag team.
Oh, that'd be awesome. That's a great idea right there. Wade and Zach versus you and me, Kev.
Hey,
That'll sell some
there we go.
tickets, is what that'll do.
And I have like a steel plated microphone that I use as a weapon.
Oh, God.
It'll be
You're gonna hit my
aluminum.
head.
It'll be aluminum foil. Don't worry.
It'll be a wonderful.
So those are some things that we've got coming up. And if you guys are interested in the Carnage Fight Series, I guess Carnage Fight Series 1, Contreras versus Richards, tickets are up for sale. You can get those on not our YouTube, our Facebook or our Instagram. We've got a link for that. I will be posting a link for the pay-per-view on both of those as well if you're interested. Or you can also just go to carnagemediappv.com. I have that link up there already, so you can pre-buy that. So, boys, tell me, where can they find you now? So that we're closing up shop here.
Gentlemen,
Clayton.
y'all can find me at cscalina12, Instagram and Twitter. Best believe I'll be watching the fights this weekend, so make sure to watch out for that. Follow my podcast at the Hot Take Sports Podcast, Hot Take Sports 16, all your social media platforms. Keep an eye out. Kev, where can the people find you?
Oh, well, tomorrow I will actually be on site doing some rare hockey coverage. We got a visitor coming in town who is a fan of the Golden Knights who take on the Columbus Blue Jackets tomorrow. So we will be in the arena hanging out, checking that out. So no live podcast for me tomorrow, but otherwise you can check us out over on Bite Size Sports. We've been doing some NFL free agency recaps as well as our way too early division predictions where John and Ben have been going in one division per episode and talking about the needs and either via free agency or the NFL draft. So if you are already missing your NFL football and you need a little taste, go head over to Bite Size Sports. We got you covered. And other than that, you can find me here in about 30 minutes, guys, on the Dweeb Station as we wait for the release of Andor. Our Star Wars show has had a pretty fun last month. We conclude our tier lists of the best Star Wars characters tonight with what has been so eloquently named the Little Freaks tier. So we've already done the Jedi, we've done the Sith, we've done the droids, and now it's our tier list of all the wackiest and kookiest background Star Wars characters that just ended up in your toy bin if you were like me as a poor child in the 90s. They're like, oh yeah, these are totally Star Wars characters, right? Where the hell did you find these guys? So that'll be a lot of fun. Zach, anywhere they can find you that you haven't mentioned?
That I haven't mentioned, no, but I'll say them again. Carnage Media, ppv.com. You can catch us on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, just about anywhere social media is, we're there. But also, yeah, I'm going to be checking out what you have to say about some NFL stuff, because I've heard some rumors about my team that I'm really hoping for, because I really hope the Cowboys do trade Dak Prescott to the Steelers, because I'm tired of Dak Prescott. He might be good in the regular season, can't win any playoff games, and I hope that curse goes over to the Steelers.
Yeah, what's the return on that?
First off, I don't think that's a curse coming to us. I think Cowboys is the curse.
No, Jerry Jones is the curse. Let's be honest about that one here.
Hey, my team now employs Super Bowl winning quarterback Kenny Pickett. We're good.
Hey.
We're good. The team is freaking saved, dude. That's exactly what I thought we should do too.
Yeah. And pay.
Yeah, it's okay. The
$40
Colts
million a
gave
year.
$14 million to Daniel Indiana Jones, as he will now forever be named.
Free agency's
good
been
luck
wild.
with that one.
Looking forward to that podcast.
You want to see some rants? Make sure you subscribe.
Shoot. But I want to thank everybody for watching. If you have
Like
any
and subscribe.
questions and comments, put them down in the comments, and like and subscribe. Also, stay tuned for next week as we do our interviews here on Carnage Media PPV YouTube page. And don't forget to visit the website, carnagemediappv.com, for all our future shows if you want to pre-order and get ahead of the game. See you guys next time.